Hello once again, Ant.
Hello, Daz.
Welcome back to the podcast, man.
Well, and we're in new digs.
We are indeed. Yes, we have a new home. It's not quite as spick and span as I would like it to be, but I have done my best. But you know, we've got a few little bits and pieces set up, and we're kind of getting there. You know, yeah. It's we're having to sort of muck about with a few things just to get things to play ball. But you know, we've got new digs, and you know, we're going to dress it a little bit later, and you know, get some decent sound quality in and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we are getting there.
Talking of sound quality, isn't this the sound studio that we built together many moons ago in your back garden?
It is. It is. This is my drum room. This is my recording studio, which Ant and I built along with the help of other people, which sadly doesn't actually really get used that much at the moment. And in actual fact, my drum kit is now acting as the world's most expensive tripod.
Yes.
I've got this little sort of you know, boom arm things that are holding lights and you know, cameras, which will be used at a later date. But yeah, it's acting as the world's most expensive tripod at the moment. And you know, perhaps we'll show it later on, give everybody a laugh.
It's a very musical tripod.
Yeah, very musical tripod. Yeah. But yeah, lots of stuff has happened since last time.
An awful lot, hasn't it? I was sick, so we couldn't record last week. I was rather ill, but thankfully not as bad as Donald Trump almost being assassinated.
Indeed, yeah. It's you know, that's not good, is it? Really, you know, it's. I mean, I don't really quite know what's really going on with that. But there's lots of things on the internet saying that it's this person's fault, that person's fault, it's this, you know, conspiracy and all that kind of stuff.
Lucky,
and I suppose
very lucky man. I think.
Yeah, his number certainly wasn't up, was it? No. You know. So, but anyway, I'm sure we'll talk more about that as time goes on.
Indeed, we have a new Führer. I mean, oh no, sorry, it is Keir Starmer, the IKEA Starmer, as I call him, the Dalek, the flat pack politician.
Yeah, he's been sworn out. I mean, sworn in by
wearing a working man's cap here, you know, just to appeal to the Labour voters, idiots that you are.
Yeah, yeah. Why did you have to do that? Bloody hell!
Well, nobody thought Reform would get 5 seats, so that's a result.
It is, yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, I hold my hands up and say that, you know, Reform probably wouldn't have been perfect, and given enough time in government, they probably would have turned into the same bunch of, you know, predictable arseholes as everybody else is. But why do we keep having to repeat this same experiment every 5 bloody years, man?
Well, if it was down to me, I'd throw them all out.
Yeah, I would as well. Again. But you know, what we have to do is we have to give somebody else a chance, even if it's just to buy us a little bit of time, and tell the establishment that, you know, we're not happy with you being the establishment anymore. Sort your life out, and then we might vote for you again. You know. But
I mean, how difficult is it running a country? I mean, they've got tens of thousands of people as civil servants and public sector people. You know, certainly in my lifetime, I have never known my taxes to go down. Which, you know, if they worked in a proper free market economy, if they had any competition, you know, I mean, how many billions do they give the NHS? Yeah. They can't even sort that out.
No, it's enough money. There is enough money in the country and enough money in taxes to pay for all these things, but the squanderance of the money is just mind-boggling, isn't it?
They have Ubers today as well, so it's not just taxis. They've got Ubers, minicabs. Oh, no.
Boom, boom. Oh, see what you did there.
How long were we in there? Was that less than 5 minutes? I got a pun in there. There we are. So, but it looks like you've got some notes there.
I have. We've already covered the Trump shooting bit, but I'm sure we can talk about that another time as well, because I'm sure that
what, Trump got shot?
Trump,
what do you mean, a failed assassination attempt?
It was, thankfully.
Not by a 20-year-old on a flat roof in sight of everybody that going, look, there's a shooter up there.
Some numpty up there.
Bit dodgy.
To be honest, I haven't really looked into it that much. So, I mean, I know it was some numpty on a roof, and we've now got this iconic picture of sort of like, you know, that with the stars and stripes in the background. And I can't help but think that, you know, the attempt itself has kind of immortalized Donald Trump and turned him into some sort of martyr, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, well done, the left. You've just done exactly what you didn't want.
We've talked about Biden stepped down, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
He was going to do it 6 months ago, but he forgot, apparently.
And he said, "Who is this Biden chap?" You know,
who's this doddery old fart that looks like me, sounds like me, and is
do I know him? You know, I mean, you meet yourself in the shaving mirror every day, mate. You know,
is this the button I'm supposed to press?
Not that one. Too late.
I mean, he even makes Reagan look a sound. You know, the president's brain is missing. Nancy.
Do you remember Spitting Image from years ago?
Fantastic.
Him and Maggie were always on that, as they would be, but there was always him, you know, sort of doddering around in the background.
The president's brain is missing.
Yeah, and that was just hilarious. But for anyone that doesn't know, I mean, well, we're speaking to not millennials, we're speaking to Gen-Xers. So if you don't know sort of, you know, what Spitting Image is, then where have you been?
But you don't have to be a Gen-Xer to watch, and you don't have to be a man to watch. So you could be a millennial, you could be a boomer, you could be a Zedder.
Has to be Z because we're not Americans.
Yes.
You know, but yeah, I mean, in I don't know, 100,000 years, when the signals of everything have sort of, you know, transversed the galaxy, who knows, aliens could be listening, and you're welcome as well, you know, unless of course you want to sort of start destroying everybody, then you can sling your up. But
I was an alien once.
Was you really?
I was in America. Apparently, when you go through the immigration, because you can't just like get a little paddle boat and just pull up to the shore in America like they do.
Unlike you can in some countries.
Over the channel. Yes, no, I had a legal resident alien pass, otherwise known as a green card.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which isn't green. Well, there is a little green stripe.
It isn't green, and it's not a card.
It is a card.
Oh, it is a card.
Yes, it is like a library card.
Right.
Really.
I thought it was going to be some sort of little booklet or something like that you had.
Well, it proved that I was an alien.
Right.
So, yeah. I'm proud of that.
So you weren't an Englishman in New York. You were an Englishman in.
I was an Englishman in New York, actually.
Oh, so you were actually. Oh, right. Okay.
Yes.
He's an English boy. Not anymore. You're not, because you're here.
No, exactly. Yes. Nice of you to notice me. Thank you. Yes. I was feeling rather insignificant there for a minute. Yeah. But
yeah.
I do like these meetings. This is email quite.
It's not bad, actually. Yeah. I mean, this has been up for what, 6 years now? 5 or 6 years, probably.
Oh, more than that, I think.
Yeah. But not by much.
No, because what is it? Is it 22nd today?
I don't know, actually.
2 days' time, 24th of July, I will have been back in England 10 years.
Right.
To the day.
Wow, cool.
And I think we did it the second year I was back.
Yeah, something like
There
that.
were 4 years of lockdown, didn't we? And all that
yeah,
nonsense,
so yeah, it all adds up, doesn't it?
It was 2 years.
Yeah.
It was like 4.
Yeah, it all adds up. But yeah, this is it's not particularly big, but it's it was big enough for the purpose. You know, so where Anthony is actually sitting right now, there used to be another drum kit, and that was the one that my pupils sat at, and but I've sold that now. So, but yeah, I've shifted a few little odds and sods in here to make a makeshift set. And do you know what we've forgotten? We've forgotten your books and my CDs.
I
and
know.
all that kind of
Next
stuff.
time.
But yeah, next time. I mean, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, was it?
Well, if people keep watching, because we've got 10 subscribers now, I'm quite impressed with that. And I do apologise for the sound, so hopefully the sound will be better this time round.
And things will improve as we go.
Yes.
We will even have more camera angles soon.
Oh, yes.
You know, because that will just make things a little bit more interesting, won't it? I've got, you know, what I mean by my drum kit being the most expensive tripod in history is that we've actually got a couple of cameras monitored, mounted here, just on some cymbal stands and things. Yeah. But they're not quite in use yet. Have you ever driven down the motorway and you see a sign that says this camera is not in use?
Yes.
Well, we should have one.
Yeah,
here
we
right
should,
now,
we have two, couldn't we? These cameras aren't. Well, when we work out how to sort of edit in between.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a new thing that we're independent sound. So, talking off the not sink in. That's really going to fuck me up with the edit. I'm going to go, fuck, motherfucker, what the fuck?
You're going to regret that.
It was quite funny, wasn't it? It was I did like that comedian back in our day, you know, where he went,
Freddie Starr, wasn't it? I think. There was a few of them that did it, to be fair. Yeah, there was a few of them, but Freddie Starr was quite famous for doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Freddie Starr's still going. Actually, I don't know. He's probably retired somewhere, I expect.
I think he's part of Jim Davidson's. Jim Davidson's got his own sort of channel thing, like a Jim Davidson YouTube.
Oh yeah.
With all of the comics, and with the chappie I like with no hair, with a bald head and long hair, with the noddy.
The bald head and long hair.
Noddy getting drunk or something. Like, have I not shared that one with you?
No,
it's excellent. Can't remember. It's the northern guy. He goes, there was a guy that used to read like Jack and Ori or something like that.
Yeah. But
he liked to drink. Hello, children. Let me tell you a story about Noddy. The Noddy was he had to wash his face. and he keeps drinking. He's getting more and more pissed as he's doing it. Absolutely hilarious. Well, I'll find out for next episode.
Absolutely. I'd be intrigued to find out who that is, because I can't remember. But I mean, as soon as I see him, I'll probably think, oh yeah. But I mean, that was back in the day when you could pretty much do whatever you wanted on TV, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Apart from use the F word.
Yes.
You know.
But that's where it's nice to bring that up, because censorship was completely different in those days. It's now gone. I mean, as soon as you start censoring humour, I like Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais is probably one of my heroes. Love to meet and work with him one day. And he sort of says, it's not. You're not having a go at a person. You're not stabbing trans people and what have you. You're just saying, well, everyone's fair game.
Exactly.
Even Jewish people just go, fucking love it. I mean, look at my father-in-law, Audrey's dad, Indian from Goa, and she said growing up, his favourite show on telly was It Ain't Half Hot Mum.
Yeah.
Because it was harmless.
Yeah.
It wasn't saying, Indian people are subservient to white people or anything like that.
That's right.
But again, as whitey males, I feel like I am public enemy number one.
Yeah.
That's why I left America. I just saw America going.
That's right. But everything's gotten to the point now where everyone's offended by all sorts of ridiculous stuff, and it just drives a divisive wedge between everybody. Everyone takes everything. Some things you should take a little bit seriously, but most stuff, like you say, is fair game, and it's only humour. Nobody actually really means it with any kind of real venom, do they? And anyone that really does step over the line, everyone knows it, and everyone ostracises them, and they end up cancelling themselves. So nobody else really needs to do that for anybody else.
Yeah, and we're all lodgers on this planet.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We're here for a very short time. I remember, I don't think you ever met my friend Richard. Died age 44, so 10 years ago. He actually died. And I had to, no one else was strong enough to do the eulogy and this, that, and the other. And I sort of said, unfortunately, we're not like pints of milk. We don't have a sell-by date on our shoulder.
Yeah.
And if we did, I don't know if people, if you knew you were going to die in 2028 on the 6th of June, would you live your life any differently?
No.
I don't know if people would. People go, I don't believe that. It's just a sell-by date. None of us know how long we've got. And I think, the best legacy all of us can do is be the best we can be. Be better than we were yesterday.
Yeah.
But as much as you can. Oh dear. And
I thought we weren't going to be base on this show.
if they're still watching at this stage, it's time for me to fart.
Oh God, please no. We're in a very enclosed space here. Right?
You are the proverbial fart in a space.
We might have to call time on this particular take if that happens. So, but yeah, talking of sort of being the best person you can, and sort of trying to be the best person you can, and not being offended, and you know, trying to sort of front everything out and sort of, you know, do the right thing and sort of, so I'm trying to formulate as I go here. It's actually quite difficult. But anyway, that kind of leads me on to one of my first little sort of points of interest that I thought might be worth a bit of a...
Oh, not that point of interest.
Well, there's lots of points of interest here. When we get the cameras working, I'll point out a few of the points of interest, because this man here did actually do 2 pieces of artwork for me, and I've turned them into sound absorbers because they've got rock wool in the back. But anyway, that's for a different time. So I will show you the artwork when we actually get some more camera angles. But now this particular point of interest is I want to bring up a chap who's on YouTube called Neil Oliver, and he does his own podcast. Yes, yeah. He's a historian, or an historian, I should say. I'm pretty sure that's sort of grammatically correct. But yeah, he's a fantastic bloke, and I enjoy watching his podcast. And you know, whether or not you kind of agree or disagree with everything that he says, I mean, firstly, let me say this: I'm going to keep sort of, I really shouldn't do it really, but I'm going to sort of just diverge from what I'm talking about just for one thing. I think it's impossible to agree 100% with someone on everything they say and believe in and stuff.
Yes, it is. No, it isn't.
Here we go.
That's not an argument. Yes, it is. No, it isn't.
You know, if you know, most people, you can find something that you can find some common ground with, and it's not a good idea, I don't think, to sort of say, oh, I'm not listening to you just because you said something last week that I disagree with, you know. But anyway, like I say, you know, if you know this guy and you disagree with what he talks about, okay, fine. You know, it's a free country still, just about. You know, you're welcome to do that. But he was interviewing a really interesting guest called Ivor Cummings, who's a chemical engineer, and I really enjoyed watching this particular episode. It's quite long, if I can remember, but it's but you know, whether you agree with him on some of his points of view or not, you know, just it's worth actually checking out this particular episode, because I think it was about, I did actually write it down somewhere, yeah, about 45 minutes in, I think, you know, towards practically the end of the podcast. Ivor Cummings was talking about Stoicism, and he mentioned, you know, what it means. I'm not going to go on about it too much. I'll let you sort of, you know, watch it and find out for yourself. But I thought, from what I can gather, you know, sort of depression and anxiety is a big thing these days, and I think it's kind of especially a thing for people of our generation. And this chap's sort of, you know, unraveling of Stoicism was very interesting, and I think it kind of helps to build character and help you sort of, you know, make sense of your own life in your own world, and sort of help to build your confidence and stuff, and help you to get over, you know, things like depression and stuff, you know. So I just wanted to bring that up because it was a really interesting sort of segment of that particular podcast, you know. And I think that's something that, you know, sort of Gen-Xers do sort of suffer with. I'm not saying it's only Gen-Xers, you know, but you know, there's a lot of it about, and I have actually looked into it a little bit, and I've tried to implement some of the sort of remits of it, you know, sort of, you know, do this, do that, and you know, try and do this, or think about this a little bit more. And
what the fundamentals? I mean, because it was the Greeks, wasn't it? The Stoics.
Exactly.
Stoics.
Yeah.
Because I believe Darren Brown got into it with his book on. He was researching happiness. I think during lockdown, and I actually published a tiny little book all about happiness, and a lot of what he talks about is the Stoics or Stoics.
Yeah.
And which is sort of like, just get on with it, isn't it? It's sort of
basically, yeah. In a nutshell, it's basically suck it up, princess, and get on with it, you know. But it's but you know, I mean, that's me just being a little bit sort of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for?
Stoic.
You know, maybe I'm being a little bit sort of, you know, unfair there, but I don't really want to spend too long on this because, you know, we've got a lot to cover, I'm sure. You know, I don't want to hog the airtime. But yeah, it was just an interesting thing. And I think it's just something that could be interesting to people. And a non-invasive kind of, you know, don't need to take drugs and all that kind of stuff way of helping you to organize your life and sort of, you know, start thinking about your reality in a different way, you know. So yeah, that was Neil Oliver interviewing Ivor Cummings and talking about stoicism. So yeah, give it a look, you know. You might find it helpful, you might find the whole thing interesting, you know. So yeah. So what else has been going on?
Oh golly, 2,000 migrants have illegally crossed the channel since Starmer has come to power.
Yeah.
Yes, not much of a.
So
I mean,
much for stopping the votes.
what would you do if you were Prime Minister? That's something I thought we could talk about. Is like, what 3 things would you do in your first 100 days, or at least try and implement? Because you know, I think Labour and Conservatives are 2 sides of the same coin. As useless,
Yeah, I do.
Useless as each other.
This is what I said earlier about sort of trying to get rid of the establishment, because it doesn't matter which one of the 2 is actually in power. All the other one that isn't in power anymore has to do is sit back on the benches and just berate the government for 4 years until they're back in again. You know, it's almost like a 4-year holiday for these people. You know. Anyway, sorry.
Well, I think until people take self-responsibility, you know, this is the whole thing. I am sort of somewhere between an anti-establishment and a libertarian. That I did like the American Constitution when I was in America, one of my big, you know, takeaways of life, I think, is to take responsibility for your life and your action.
Yeah.
You know, I think it would be, you know, maybe not this particular episode, but another one to sort of say what is so great about being a Gen-Xer, because of the decades we've actually lived through. You know, pre-computers and not pre-technology. You know, we did have slate and the wheel, didn't we?
Exactly.
Growing up,
Yeah.
And electricity and hot and cold running water.
We had things things called discrete components, which actually did something, and it only had one job.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
whereas everything's menu driven now, isn't it? It's all software driven.
We can compare to a time pre-technology, you know, pre-computers, or you know, personal computers and that electronic technology being everywhere. But getting back to taking self-responsibility, I think if more people, rather than, you know, because it drives me potty, this entitlement mentality, you know, I think
totally.
Human rights isn't having a washing machine, 2 holidays a year, etc., etc., etc. Human rights are, you have the right to breathe, think what you want, say what you want, and do what you want within what is the law.
Yeah.
That's where I don't understand all these boat people. They are invading this country illegally. Yeah. It's illegal. They're breaking the law. They're fucking criminals.
Exactly.
Why do these lefty liberal numpties go, oh, well, they're human beings? And that was a great thing last week. The boat, the border farce, actually went into French water and took the boat people back to France.
Good. About fucking time.
Why don't they do that every time?
Yeah.
Why do they bring them? Don't let them set foot in this country.
No, that's right.
We've got a legal immigration. I've emigrated to 3 countries in my life. I've gone through the legal process. It's a ball ache. I understand that. And, you know, I love it that people want to come to this country. But I don't, you know, 8 million a day?
I know.
8 million
It's
pounds
insane.
a day? It's like...
You know, just how long do people think that this is actually sustainable for? You know, it's insane. I mean, you know, your question about what I would do in my first 100 days. First of all, I don't think any government, be they Conservative or Labour, has got any real interest in stopping the vote. So I think I'm not going to get all conspiratorial about it, but I do actually think that they have no interest in actually stopping it, because, you know, I think there are other things at play here, but, you know, that's for a different day. But if you go into any pub in this country and ask any any bloke at the bar, he will tell you how to stop this in 30 seconds flat. It isn't difficult, you know. Basically, you make it an unattractive proposition for them for a start. You basically blanketly say no. If you come into this country illegally, right, the stamp on your application is an instant no.
Absolutely.
You know, and
I totally agree. 100% agree.
you know, and you don't give these people accommodation. You don't give them spending money. You don't give them this, that, and everything else. First of all, you make it absolutely a waste of their time. You know?
Mean, if only we had a ferry port at Dover, we could
That would be
literally
handy, wouldn't
let
it?
them
Yeah.
land, put them on a ferry, and send them back to Calais.
Yeah.
Oh, we do.
You know, but I mean, what's the bloody navy for? You know, stick a frigate or something in the English Channel, pick these people up, drop them back off in French waters. You know, it will end within a week. The Australians have done it. I don't see why we can't.
Well,
You
the
know?
crazy thing, I think a lot of people.
If you can spend £8 million a day and rising, then you can afford to keep a Royal Navy vessel in the Channel.
But I think
know?
a lot of people, because Audrey, my wife, I only found this out last week. She was under the belief, and I think Paul is as well, because he's a bit like that. Thinks that they actually make it all the way across the Channel, land on the beaches, get out, and are here. No, they flounder in the middle of the Channel. We send out rescue boats. The RNLI and Border Force go out, risking their lives and our resources, pick them up and bring them here.
Yeah.
I mean, Starmer, just build a bloody bridge. Build a bridge all the way across, or let them walk through the Channel Tunnel. You know, if you're worried about human life. But as you say, it's completely unsustainable.
It is. It's a farce. It's a farce. You could stop it tomorrow. It's easy, you know. But all these people in government don't really have a vested interest in stopping it. And if that, you know, they end up, you know, coming up with all these harebrained ideas like Rwanda and stuff. I mean, that was never going to fly, was it? Really, you know, it was just a way of spending £500 million worth of, you know, taxpayers' money and pretending like you're actually trying to do something.
Well, I think Starmer should have at least. It's what I think we need bipartisanship with big problems in this country. You know, or more referendums. Use the technology, use blockchain to actually like let people vote. But I think at least Starmer should have sent those that were earmarked to go to Rwanda to go to Rwanda. It had already been funded, it had already been paid for.
Yeah.
Put people on the plane, because again there was a law case, so people were appealing being sent to Rwanda. But because Starmer just went, no, I am exterminating the Rwanda plan. The taxpayer had to pay these illegals legal fees.
Yeah.
It was in the tens of thousands. It was like £50,000, £60,000 in legal fees, and they now are allowed to stay in the UK.
Yeah, whole thing's insane.
You know, they should go and live with Starmer.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. You know, outrageous.
I mean, sort of neither of us are sort of like anti-human, or, you know, we actually, believe it or not, we actually do care about people, but you know, that starts with caring about the people that are already here and paying for all this, you know, because sooner or later we are going to pay the price for this, not just financially. You know, it's eroding away everything that we hold dear in this country, you know, and it's worth protecting. You know, people, there's lots of this sort of like, you know, white fragility around, and you know, how we're responsible for all the ills in the world, but you know, nobody ever talks about what we've actually given to the world. You know, everyone forgets that quite conveniently. And all the things that everyone likes to do in this country are going to be eroded away sooner or later. And everyone's going to think, oh, I didn't sign up for this. You know, but unfortunately, you did.
Well, which is part of the reason for the podcast, isn't it, really? To give ourselves a platform to discuss things like this, talk, you know, get it off.
Yeah, and just so that we're clear, you know, we are interested in everybody's point of view. If you disagree with us, please get in touch with us and tell us why you disagree. You know, get involved in our discussions and things. Leave your comments and all that kind of stuff. And you know, I mean, we've got plenty of time on our hands at the moment, have we? Because I think we've probably got about 4 comments in there at the moment. So, you know, at the moment we can actually reply to them all. But you know, we're interested in working out, you know, everyone's point of view and having an actual discussion about it. You know, we're not cancelling anybody. You know, we want to get to the bottom of what
we are a work in progress, aren't we?
We are indeed. Yeah, yeah. It's well, on a lighter note.
Yes.
I went to Lord's the other week.
You need a cigarette. Oh, different lighter.
That's actually a very good idea,
but
I'm not going to. I actually can go without for a little while longer.
You went to Lord's?
I went to, on a lighter note, I went to Lord's, not last week, the week before, with a very, very good friend of mine, who I went to school with. I've known him for 41 years, and this was organised ages ago. We went to Lord's and we had some great tickets, and we saw England versus the West Indies first test. Yeah. And
it was any footage?
Yes, there is some footage which we're hopefully going to get organised. Maybe not for this particular podcast, but it will be in the next one. But we just thought we'd give you an insight into what we've been up to, and hopefully something to look forward to. You know, hopefully, well, you know,
I think they call that a teaser.
You know, hopefully, you know, if any of you are interested in the cricket, you know, there will be a little bit of a video diary of my trip to London, you know, sort of coming up very soon. Yeah. You know,
hopefully.
And it was a thoroughly enjoyable day, and I thoroughly recommend it to everybody. And I got all my best MCC gear on, and my sun hat and blazer and all that. You know, got dressed up for the occasion, and which I think is kind of important. You know, I mean, somebody who doesn't want to get dressed up, then fine. Yeah. But I like to sort of, you know, dress for an occasion. You know, I think I like to do things properly. You know, but yeah, so that's the trip to Lord's. So that will be coming up, and hopefully we can sort of look at my video diary and hopefully if the footage is interesting enough. But
we shall see.
Yeah, well, we shall see. So, what have you been up to in the last couple of weeks, Ant?
Oh gosh. Retirement. I was at a very nice wine do yesterday. Oh, right. Actually, a little wine club the wife and I belong to since we're retired. Yeah, we're probably the youngest people in this retirement group. But there's a wine group, so every month we get together and we have 3 bottles of red wine and 3 bottles of white wine, and we.
Was that each? Or?
Well, it'd be nice. It would have feels like it. Feels like it actually. It's like this is hitting the spot now. I was absolutely fucking hungover this morning. It was like, you know, having to drive all the way down here was quite torturous. But yeah, I have a really boring life actually. I sort of get up. We get up quite late, but we do stay up very late, and just sort of see what the world throws at us.
See what the day brings.
Yeah, I mean, we are very, very fortunate that because of bungling Boris throwing us into lockdown, the wife and I sort of looked at each other and went, fuck this, we're going to soldiers. All of this working malarkey is a bit overrated.
Well, I can't remember who it was that said, but working is I'm paraphrasing here, but sort of working is extremely inconvenient for the drinking classes. You know?
It does, probably Peter Cook. Probably Peter Cook. Yeah. I do watch these. That's the thing. It's what I've been doing. I've actually been re-watching a lot of Derek and Clive and Dudley Moore and Peter Cook, who I think are absolutely phenomenal comedians. And so it's just sort of deciding what I'm going to do with my life. I mean, we have elderly parents, so you know that is. You know, with sort of unpaid carers, I suppose, from that point of view, more so my mum than Audrey's parents. But yeah, you know, it's sort of cooking and cleaning and living and learning and trying to learn Portuguese and.
I remember last time you said you were trying to learn Hindi. How's that going?
Hindi, yes. Trying to learn Hindi through shopkeepers, which right. Is quite good. What have I got? I have a bar is apparently thank you.
I thought it was a place where you got a beer.
A bar is, yes, well, that's how I remember it, you see. And well, oh gosh, there was
I should remember that now, actually. That's really useful.
A bar. And I think it's a dialect. So Mr. and Mrs. Ben, that's one of the convenience stores that we use, are very, very politely teaching me the odd word now and then, when it's not too busy. But yes, it's in lieu of maybe being a Bollywood bad guy, but only because I don't think bad guys have to dance. If I had to do the Bollywood dance, I would be completely screwed because I've got.
It's a shame, actually. I was looking forward to you sort of like doing all this business, but I mean, if you can get away with that, then
not going to happen. I would be like the two left foot man. I can shuffle like an Egyptian. That's about it.
Shuffle like
an Egyptian.
I better not say that. We might end up with a copyright strike.
Only if you sing it in tune.
Well, I can sing everything in tune. I sing perfectly in the key of M.
But should we? Because I'm getting to the bottom of my tinny. I mean, we might actually have to do that. We'll limit each episode to
a beer.
And because we've been rambling on for quite a while without one. We just need to. If you're still watching and you have like this, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing.
Click the like button. And tell your friends and all that. And
next episode we'll be down to 2 subscribers. 8 people just go fuck this for a go. Like, who are these cunts? And,
we might have to bleep that one.
Almost got a whole episode without saying the word cunt. Just for good measure. So
that's twice now.
I know. But I am a country fellow, so. If that's allowed, you can say that. Like my song. I'm a country boy. I'm getting fat and my hair's getting thinner. I'm a country singer. I'm a country boy.
Oh, I can see a big disclaimer coming on. We might have to bleep that one out.
Everything is just. So shall we call that a wrap?
Yeah, okay. I mean, how long is that now?
I beg your pardon. Getting rather personal.
Filthy mind.
Look at the. That's about half an hour.
Is it? Okay. Well, we'll call it a day there.
I think so.
We'll top another cold one, and perhaps we'll sort of, call it a day there.
Have a little look at what.
Yeah. Good. Cool. Well, it's goodbye from me, and it's
goodbye from him. Goodbye.